I'm Paul Mellor. I'm from Mellor&Smith, the ad agency in London. And I'm coming to you live, maybe not live, from Hermitage Saint-Germain-sur-Talois. And that's because I moved to the Alps. I moved to the French Alps, nearly 2 years ago now. I'd had enough of London. And I go back and since lockdown, none, but like before lockdown, once a week I go back to London, but I spend the vast majority of my time, most of my week, here in the French Alps. And why did I move here? I moved here with my family, wife and kids. I moved here for peace, tranquility, great vistas. There's one for you, Glenn. Great vistas. But most importantly, I moved here for time. That is the problem that I have, and I think a lot of people have in London, and well, maybe not just London, but I think it's particularly pronounced in London. No one has any time. Everyone's running around. They go, "Oh, I got meetings back to back today," like it's some kind of badge of honour. It's ridiculous. Nobody has any time. Nobody has any time to think, to breathe, to explore, to experiment. And that's a massive problem. It's a massive problem in our industry, in the ad industry, because we are fucking terrible at our job as an industry. 1,000 ads a day, TV, radio, print, mobile, whatever it is. We all know the stat. 89% of them, the average Londoner sees 1,000 of them, and 89% of them are forgotten. It's wallpaper. They're ignored. If you're ignored, everything else is academic. Doesn't matter how clever your ad is. Doesn't matter how fucking beautiful the pun is. It does not matter if it's ignored. But that doesn't seem to kind of worry people that much. It really, really worried me so much that I moved here. And actually, since I moved here, our ads have got a hell of a lot better. I mean, they're pretty good before, but yeah, they've got a lot better. And that's because I've got time. And then we think about what is our job. That's just before we get into it, because it's time that I really want to talk to you about. But I think it's related to this. What is our job description? Our job description is to get noticed. Yes, we've got to build fame. We've got to build brands. We've got to move people. We've got to move the fucking needle. All that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that's not important, but the primary job of an advertising agency, of a creative, is to get noticed. Like I said, if you don't do that, everything else is academic. And it's a problem, because I think they're directly related to each other. The lack of time and how shit we are as an industry at our job. I don't think it's any coincidence that the reduction in time has coincided with, as an industry, being rubbish at our job. And I think there are a lot of ills in our industry. The degradation of creativity, the absolute fucking obsession with data, the fixation with delivery. How much time we talk about all the blockchain, VR, fucking all this kind of bollocks. Ideas, but there's a lot of problems, all those things, but they pale in significance, absolute insignificance, to time and the lack of it. When was the last time you had more than enough time for a brief that you're working on? So if you're agency side, when was the last time you had more time than you needed? Fucking tell me. Now, it doesn't happen. You've always got less time than you need. Yeah? And if you're on brand side, when was the last time somebody turned around to you and said, "That's too much time, mate. No, I don't need that much. You cut that down a bit." No one ever says that. No one has enough time, apart from now, of course. Yeah? And it reminds me of an article that I read by George Tannenbaum. He writes the Ad Aged blog, and it's brilliant. I massively recommend that you all go and read it and follow what George talks about. But he wrote, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, fucking loving this pink hair, by the way. Get used to this. George wrote an article about the two-time Pulitzer winner, Robert Caro. And he said that he went to, I think it was a lecture that Robert Caro was giving a few weeks or a couple of months ago. And in it, Robert Caro talked about a story about how he became a writer and how he became a particularly good one. Clearly, he's won a lot of awards, right? And he's saying that when he was at, I think it was at Princetown. When he was at university, he was at Princetown. Caro was given a short essay, a short story every couple of weeks, and he would always leave it to the last minute, and he would crank it out. And he knew he could crank it out. He knew he was good, yeah. And every couple of days before the deadline, he'd crank one out. He'd crank out the fucking essay, no problem, and he'd get top marks. Bam, 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 and that happened, month after month after month. And his professor turned around to him one day and said, "Mr. Caro, you will never achieve what you want to achieve until you stop writing with your fingers." Until you stop writing with your fingers. Stop thinking with your fingers. If you think about it, that's what we do as an industry. We think with our fingers. How many times have you been writing manifestos, TV scripts, press ads, right up until the deadline? Do it all the time. We all do it. I do it. We all do it. We've never got enough time. And that's because we've become so accustomed to being able to fucking, smash this out of the park, mate. No worries. And you get in early, you leave late, you're writing TV scripts at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's why a lot of it's rubbish. Because we don't give it enough time. We're not prepared. We're not prepared to give it enough time, agency side. And brands, on the brand side, aren't able to give enough time to the agency. And maybe sometimes they probably like to be able to give them more time, but they can't. And it all requires people to say no, that's not enough time. I can't do the best job that I need to be able to do. Yeah? Think about that. Think about what you could do with more time. Yeah? Just stop and think about that for a minute. What would you do if you had more time? I'll tell you what I'd do. Stop, breathe, think, repeat. I'd do that over and over and over and over again. And then, when I've got more time, I've been fucking thinking. I'd be going down to doing factory visits for my clients. I'd be going down to the high street and snooping around in the retailers that we got as clients. I'd be going down to the R&D department for various clients that we've got. I'd be reading engineering reports. I'd just be a sponge for knowledge. Because you don't know when you're going to need that, but you're definitely going to fucking need it when you want to pull something out of your arse at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah? You've got to be able to say no, and you have to be able to command more time. And that is because, and I think one of the biggest reasons is because time is expensive. And it is, and so it fucking should be. But right now, it's a lot cheaper. Yeah? I ask for more time. You go to any of my clients, all I ever fucking say to them is, could I have an extra few weeks on that? When you say, oh, we've got a month to do this campaign, no, I'd like 2 months, please. You want it to be fucking good? Right, well, give me 2 months. Yeah? Time is expensive. I'm not cheap. And nor should I be. And nor should you be. Yeah? What you produce is good. Or it should be good. And if you had more time, even fucking better. But right now, when everyone's got a lot more time, time is cheap. Use this time. Use it. Think. Fucking just think. If you're a creative, just sit down. Maybe come find... I'll send you a photo of this and you can print it out and put it on your wall. Yeah? Just think. If you're a duo, just fucking jump on a FaceTime and just sit there and talk shit to each other. You'll never know where those kind of conversations go. You never actually get a chance to do those things. If you're a brand, what I'd be doing right now, if I was a marketing director or a CMO or a marketing manager at a brand side, I'd be going, right, my budgets have been slashed. So I'm going to bung a couple of quid to a few freelancers or to some maybe not furloughed because that's illegal, maybe some sacked agency side people. Just bung them a few quid and say, look, this is broadly where I'm going in the next 6 months. Just think for me. Come back in a month. When was the last time you had a month and a brief that open? And if you're client side and you've been furloughed, just go, right, I'm going to use this time. 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day. Like, just do a bit of time. Just put some time into one of your clients, one of the accounts that you work on. You'd be amazed at how much you can achieve in a month with a little bit of discipline. I think you'd be fucking amazed, because you never get it. And you probably actually fall back in love with what we do. And that's because time should be expensive, and so it should be. But right now, it's cheap. Take the fucking time to think.